Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Eliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you live on the last day of August from the city of New York, the city that never sleeps, which, to quote Ed Hochstein, is why it looks so rotten in the morning. We're shuffling up the cards, and I cleaned that up, by the way. Yeah, Ed Hochstein. He was a funny comedian. I don't know what, I lost touch with him years ago. But the last time I saw him, he actually said, not as a straight line, but he meant it because he had done a career move, I'm in ladies' underwear now. You don't give people straight lines like that in life. It's just, it's not done. It's just not done. So here we are. I've done two. This is my second live show in a row. You know, it's not one thing. It's another. You know, like I missed a whole bunch of shows at the end of March into April and then into part of May because there was a really horrible flu going around. I don't know what it was like in your neck of the woods, but there was no media coverage about the flu that was hitting us over the spring. I had to go to the New York State Department of Health to see that it was hitting about 10,000 people a week. I called a few doctors I know, and they said, yeah, everybody, all their patients had flu, but it was nothing because there's no scare value in flu. You know, it's not scary enough. But it was a bad one, and it knocked me out. And then, just as I got back and did a show in June, the computer died, which sometimes you think the world is telling you something, right? But no, I refused to let it tell me something, and I stubbornly had the computer rebuilt, and which cost a lot less than getting a new one. But here we are, so we're back, and I'm looking forward to doing this next week in September. See you in September, right? That's isn't that what they used to say? That was Brian Hyland of Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny etc. fame. So here we are, and I've been back doing live readings off the air for people. It's been a blast. I've missed that. I may have talked a bit too much last week on the show because you keep me isolated for a month and a half. And I'm just going to start shooting my mouth off. But I'm back now. I'm here, and we're going to be doing a whole bunch of interesting readings. And the most important thing is, and this was heartbreaking, and I apologize to all the people this happened to, the millions and millions, well, a few people it happened to. If you bought any books of ours from Amazon, I had to cancel the orders. I had to cancel the orders because I had no way of doing it. I had no way of finalizing the orders and printing out the postage and printing everything out. So I canceled the orders, but we've made up for that. And people have been buying books again. The smart people go to mojoacademy.org and look at the books and audio and all the stuff there. And you can find any book that I don't have a particular desire to sell through Amazon.com. I don't have an aversion to it. It's there. I just, it's a marketplace and a lot of people use it. They take a little bit of a bite out of the thing there. Everybody does. It's commerce, I mean, why not? But I also sell directly from the printing plant. And those books cost less. A lot less. Well, a few dollars each less. That can be a lot depending on what you do, what you buy. And also there is right now using the Welcome 15 code, just in capital letters, Welcome 15, 15, Welcome 15. If you do that at checkout, you'll get 15% off of your order, which is essentially free shipping. So that's pretty good too, because postage is pretty expensive these days. But there's books there that will change your life. And one of the things I've talked about this before everything crashed and burned, and I haven't been on the air for a while, was the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets. That is a wonderful set of books that is, there's one available at Amazon.com. You have to buy the whole set there, though. You can buy any one of the 10 books or as many as few as you want at the printing plant. You'll see it when you go to mojoacademy.org. But that is, those are 10 books, 32 pages each. They were originally published in the 1930s. I restored a set from an original 1930s set. So it's for the first time in decades, you can get these books in individual books again. Some people now and then, every few years, will put out a typo-ridden version of the 10 Lost Books of the Prophet in one book, which really should be called the One Lost Book of the Prophets. But even then, these aren't really lost books. These are synthesized from a bunch of really good occult sources that those of you who know about this stuff will recognize it when you see the books. But if you want to know about using occult energy and esoteric power, and you want to get a good start on it, the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets is a very good set of books to start with. And I'm talking about, I'm a guy who many years ago, when I started getting into this, I found a book by Louis de Clermont, which is a nom de plume. He also compiled and wrote the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets, a book of oils and incense. And I thought, oh, great. It's a little booklet, a little pamphlet kind of thing. But I said, oh, great. Now I'm going to know everything. Which, of course, I learned so little from that I had to start buying more books and delving deeper and deeper and deeper. But that's it. The esoteric arts, this is a lifelong study. And it's not for everybody. But the work is available for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't need to know how to build or repair an automobile in order to drive a car. And you can still do magical work without having a grounding in all of the basics. And that's what the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets will do. It'll give you a good, solid understanding of the stuff that can be done. And it will give you definite things you can do involving, for instance, most of the books have a section about the Psalms, with a different selection of Psalms from the Book of Psalms and what you can do with them, and how you can use them to enhance your life and work your will. Magic is the art of causing change to occur in the universe in conformity with your will. It's not about poisoning people. It's not about revenge. It's not about making people love you. You'll see all of that go. Love spells are black magic, folks, because you're trying to get somebody to do something that's against their will. Don't even think about doing that. You can find something about that at my website, which is magick-works.com, magick-works.com. But this is all by the long way of saying that soon I'm going to have available at Amazon more complete sets of the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets. There's only one there now because it sells so well. And up until recently, there was something unique. And really, I mean unique, because nobody else had one. Nobody else made one. I'm the only person who has this because I took the trouble to do it. And it's pretty damn costly, but it's not terrible. It's not going to, it's not awful. It's not like buying a piece of antique furniture or an incunabula book, but it's expensive. It's the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets in hardcover, in eight. The 10 Lost Books of the Prophets, and he says 8, right? Hindsight instructs us there are 10 books. In 10 individual hardcover books, or you can get them, even the hardcover ones, at your own pace from the printing plant. And mojoacademy.org will show you how to do that and save money. Of course, the ultimate way to save money is not to buy any of this stuff. And this is why I'm very torn about mentioning these books, because they are important, especially in times like this where systems are failing us. Never in the history of the modern world, the modern Western world, has science fallen into such disrepute as it's in today. Because scientists, people who designated themselves not just scientists, but they called themselves science itself, were misleading people and telling people that they misled people, but they misled you for the noblest of motives. But there's one particular scientist who is leaving the government service, whose name I will not mention, who I described once as being like the guy who puts $2 on every horse in the race and then boasts about picking the winner. Because this is a person who has taken every single side of every issue, and then when he's criticized, said, "I am science." So no, this is, and people do not trust the Centers for Disease Control. People do not trust the National Institutes of Health. People are questioning pharmaceutical companies like never before. And this is a good time to learn about an alternative science, because magic work is a science. Magical work is a science. It's the art and science, as I mentioned, of getting change to occur in the universe in conformity with your will. Now, that doesn't mean that it always works. Nothing always works, but you'd be surprised the results. I'll give you a perfect example about that. The 10 Lost Books of the Prophets in hardcover. I had one copy. I made one copy of that, one set, and priced it pretty high because it's unique. Nobody else has it. So why not ask for a little premium for that? And it just sat there at Amazon, just sat there for months and months and months and months. Nobody cared. So I said to my spouse, I said, you know something? Why don't we just take it off Amazon and just keep it for ourselves? And I'll just stick those books up on the bookshelf. Within 12 hours, somebody bought it. That's magic, This is the kind of stuff regular listeners to the show know that I've often said, well, if I with a question like that somebody asked me, I'm probably going to get a lot of cup cards. And there I do get a lot of cup cards. Now, that this is radio that I'm doing. I'm still old fashioned enough to do audio only. But I'm being dragged kicking and screaming into the 1950s, meaning video. So I could say anything I want, but these are the cards that I get. I don't have the imagination to make it up. And when the time comes, I'm going to show you the cards as I read them in a video segment. How would you like that? You get to see inside the old cave at the Purple Grotto here. And I will show you the cards that I get. And yet, even then, some people won't believe me. They'll think that I'm a card manipulator, because if I could shuffle a deck of cards and get the kind of cards I wanted out of them, you wouldn't see me for heel dust. I would be in Las Vegas at a table if I could do that. But no, I can't do that. I just shuffle the cards and tell you what I see. And that's the essence of the card reading. So we're going to be getting some good offers of items in the coming months, but I'm going to tell you about. But I am feeling a little shy about this because the economy is so bad. This is just, either I'm getting stronger or I can carry $100 worth of groceries with no effort now. So that must be why, right? It's $100. It's like one tote bag now. You know what I'm talking about. You know the drill. This is very expensive. We haven't seen prices like this since the 1980s, price increases, right? Here we are again. And as older people know that this happens and it comes and goes, and I'm not going to blame people. That's not the point of this show. The point of this show is positive energy and how to deal with it. And I guess what I'm saying in a very clumsy way is go to mojoacademy.org. If you find a book there that tickles your fancy, then get it from the printing plant for less money. It costs less, and you get a 15% discount. The code changes sometimes, but I always update that at the website. Because this is a very odd time, because this is not the time to be spending extraneously. We want to marshal our funds. There's a song that Frank Lesser wrote for the movie Thank Your Lucky Stars, which is, it opens up, it's Eddie Cantor singing, "Thank you for your cordial invitation, Mrs. Jones, but with nightclub life, we're through. Non-essential spending brings inflation, Mrs. Jones, so here's what we're planning to do." And then it goes on to have some of the most risque lyrics ever put into a Hollywood movie. But the point is, this is not the time for non-essential spending, because we're in an inflationary spiral. And the only way to get rid of inflation is with recession. We've discussed this on the show before, that this is, everybody knows this. The recession is the only way to knock inflation out. And recession hurts a lot, but the results are good. So I'm not exactly whole-throatedly telling you go buy this and go buy that, but just look to see, because the flip side of this is the time to see that there's more to life than science. More to life, because as Woody Allen once said, science is nothing but men in smocks cutting up frogs on foundation grants. The esoteric arts predate modern science. And as we've seen, modern science does not know what the hell it's doing at all. They don't know. And they shouldn't know, because science is a process. It's the scientific method. Science isn't this thing. And it certainly isn't a noun for a human being who goes around saying, when you attack me, you attack science, as he puts it. No. This is the time. I'm looking right now at my bookshelf here, and I'm looking at the 10 books of the equinox. Now, that's highly, highly, highly advanced magic. It fell into the public domain about a year or two ago, so you can buy those too from alternative sources. But it's good to stick with the Weiser books. Samuel Weiser, not Weiser in terms of wisdom, because they're excellently made, and that is advanced magical stuff that you can study for the rest of your life. But the two books that I would suggest, if you want to know how to get to use magical work, traditional magical work, because science is imploding, as well it should, because it became arrogant. There's the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets, and there's my book, Reverend Eliot Explains It All, which is a humorous, lighthearted look at magical stuff. And it tells you how to do an awful lot of things, including bake the damnedest pumpkin pie you ever had in your life. So keep those two in mind. But there's other books there, too, you might look at. Now, you can't get my tarot book through the printing plant, because that comes with a CD. That's only available through Amazon. But there are many, many, many books there that can teach you all kinds of things about magic. We're coming into the Halloween time, in which I always move a few copies of things like the Book of Forbidden Knowledge and the Book of Black Magic. Now, that's a fun book. But consider the alternatives, because you've seen what science can do for the last 2.5 years, and it's a mess. It's a mess. Following science is ludicrous. You don't follow science. You use the scientific method to learn. Science is not a rule book. And this following science stuff is why we're in big trouble now. Because nobody knows what they're talking about when they get into that stuff. It's sheer arrogance. And you've seen the result of arrogance. Arrogance in a magician is terrible too. Oh, man. Karma catches up pretty fast with you there, that's for sure. And if you want to know more about karma, please go to magic-works.com and click on the karma page. You can also find it at mojoacademy.org. Click on the karma page. There's an interesting discussion there about what karma is, what it really is. Karma is not a celestial vengeance machine. So, get that out of your head. Karma is not what people, wait till karma gets you. No, that's not what, it's a very deep thing. And I urge, and it's free to listen to that. See, that's the other thing. You go to my website, there's a lot of free content there. Movies are there. Audio is there. All kinds of stuff. A lot of good magic videos. Check out the magic videos at magic-works.com, magick-works.com. But I want you to consider that, even if you don't spend money, because this is not the time to spend money unless you have it to spend, and you want to spend it wisely by investing in your power. That's what you'll do when you get the 10 Lost Books of the Prophets, which are kind of costly, or when you get Reverend Eliot Explains It All, which is not kind of costly. You can invest in your power. It's the best investment you'll ever make, is investing in you and empowering yourself. So Hey, there you go. I mean, I don't want this to sound like a commercial because this isn't the time to be pushing products. I've said that many times, and that is the truth because you can't even stretch $1 nowadays. It's just really bad. And if you want to look into other ways of seeing the world rather than the lens that various television networks give you when they explain things to you, check out some Magickal books. And if you want to just tool around magic-works.com, I got 101, 102 pages there, and you'll find something that'll interest you. Take a look at the movie The Golem. It's a silent movie, but it's, don't let that intimidate you. If you're not used to silent movies, you'll dig it because a silent movie is just a quiet movie. Yeah. And that is a tale of scientific arrogance in a sense in the occult sciences. The Golem has led to things like Frankenstein. That's a disguised Golem story. You look at the Golem page at my website, and you'll see that 2001: A Space Odyssey is a Golem movie. Now, what is a Golem? Go to my page and find out. So let's get going to the readings now, because I've been away for so long. I just wanted to let you know. Hell, science failing us is my computer crashing. So I was still able to communicate with people telepathically while the computer was down. Imagine that. So I'm leaning towards doing some conference call things through Zoom, thanks to good friend Andrew, who listens, who has been dangling that before me since even before the pandemic. And he's tempting me, and I'm going to do it. And I think I've got the subject for my first Zoom class, which will be out-of-body time travel. I'll tell you about the things I've done in terms of time travel when we get together and do this. So I'll give you a little taste of it next week. But yeah, that'll be the thing that I've decided we're going to start with. And let me know if you want to sign up to that. You can send me an email at asktarot@earthlink.net. It's ASKTAROT@earthlink.net. But now that we've gotten everything out of the way and I've said hello because I've been away for so long, I'm a chatterbox now. Let's pull back the curtain on the magical window by ringing a bell 3 times to declare sacred space. And our first caller is Joanna in Indianapolis. Hi, Joanna. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi.
Hi. How are you tonight, Joanna?
I'm happy to be talking to you.
Oh, that's nice. What can I look at for you?
Well, I've been torn between career, love life, and mediumship of, two people in particular that I was hoping to connect with, either one of them, but whatever you feel pulled to.
Well, let's take a look because there are definite cards for each of those. So let's see what they say. Well, I've got cards of wands and coins, which relate to work. Did you mention career?
I did, yeah.
Because that's what I'm getting. I'm getting good cards and then not so good cards and good cards and not so good cards. So are things kind of up and down in terms of career?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, well, what would you like to know? And then let's see if we can zoom in on that and get something specific.
Oh, boy. Well, I've been doing the same thing for a couple years. I own my own business, and I'm wanting to just completely switch gears and go into a more health-oriented field. But making the actual switch has been just intimidating, and I haven't done it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm not crazy about change. But I'll do it. This is why
it's scary when you don't know exactly what to do. Yeah. So I haven't, done the thing. So yeah, I don't know exactly what to ask about it.
Well, what I see here in these cards I've got two on the. I got four cards here, and on the outside are rod cards, the first and the last one, and rods are about career, and the inside are money cards, which relate to work. They relate to money, obviously, but these cards specifically relate to money and work. So let me tell you what I got here. The two rod cards I have indicate change, but not change that you're really ready for at the moment. There's what there are a couple of cards here that are threes. There's the three of rods and the three of coins, and these indicate completion, and it's a strong indication that you may be taking in a partner and working with somebody else. Have you been considering that?
Yeah, but no one seems to be reliable or permanent. And I've just recently gotten an injury to the main hand that I work with. So it's becoming less of an option and more of like, if I want to pay the bills, I got to find a partner type deal.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, I'm seeing that well, first of all, there's the Eight of Coins here, and that's about a person who takes on a new job and works at it very diligently, and it's very rewarding, and it leads to other things. The Three of Coins is an interesting card because it indicates generally doing something temporarily until it's completed and then going to do something else. But you did so well at that thing that you completed that it opens doors for you. So I'm seeing that you may be taking something before you get to the thing that you want to do for yourself. You may be taking some other kind of work that you'll use as a stopgap to just get ready to do the other thing. You see what I mean? Because these are cards of waiting for a result, the Two of Rods and the Three of Rods, and watching your and I'm compressing them. I'm defining them together, and watching the work that you did bear fruit over a period of time. The Eight of Coins shows that you'll be very diligent about what you need to do to get this going. And the Three of Coins shows me that you will bring what you're going to do to a completion, and that will lead to the next step that you want to take. So you may be doing something in the interim that you probably don't even expect right now. But it looks very positive.
It's just that I'm good with that. I like the unexpected. That's exciting.
You're not quite ready to take that jump, is what I see here.
Yes. Yeah. So an interim step sounds great about now.
but the thing is, an interim step implies that you will take the bigger step later. You know, it's not procrastination. It's just that you're going to find a way to do it incrementally so that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now I've been reduced to cliche, right? You know what I mean.
Understood. Yeah.
And the nature of what you're going to do is going to be very successful, and I'll tell you why I say that. I have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is, in some decks, notably the Thoth Tarot by Aleister Crowley, that is called science. After all that rap I gave about like science letting us down, it's called science because it's about your mind. The Six of Swords is you getting from where you are to where you want to be through your own efforts of your mind and your willpower. And the next card is the Empress, which is a person who makes things happen and makes things grow. It's a card of fertility, but it doesn't have to literally mean children, because the person in the card is a woman surrounded by fruit and vegetables and wheat and things like that. So you will get where you want to go. You're going to get there at your own pace, and you will flourish when you get there, because you make things grow, you make things happen. One warning, just one, it's a warning. It's not a terrible omen. It's the Ten of Rods. Rods again are work. Don't overburden yourself. It's just be very good to yourself during this period. It's just a warning not to take on too many obligations and do too much on your own, because then you can overburden yourself. But some people work well under pressure. So, if you're one of them, that's different. but it's just a warning not to push yourself too hard, because according to this, you're going to get where you're going, and it's going to go very well. Okay.
Heard, understood. I don't have much clarity on where I'm going, but I'm glad that I'll get there.
Yeah, I know. We don't really have time.
One clarity question I can ask?
If you do it briefly, because I've got a few people waiting here. But what would you like to know?
I was just wondering if this interim step, is that something that I'm the boss of, basically? Like, am I running the show, or is it going to come through someone else offering a position?
Okay, but generally the 3 of coins relates to working for somebody else, but the cards I've got now are definitely a person doing her own work.
Okay. That probably has to do with the partnership thing.
Ace of Rods is a new career. Ace of Rods is the beginning of a new career. The 2 of Coins is a person who knows how to juggle money and get it working. Sometimes it implies credit. And the 9 of Coins is a person who is comfortable with herself. So you're not going to be upset about, some people need to be around people all the time. It's not that you're a hermit, but you can be comfortable doing things on your own. And that's good. That's what I see. So I'm leaning towards thinking that you're going to come up with something that's a stopgap, and you will make that grow, and you will get what you want out of that. The next step will come out of that.
Heard, understood. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Best of luck to you. Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle up the cards. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window. I've been doing this on the Ask One Radio Network for 10 years. A little more than 10 years. Oh, boy, time flies when you're having occult messages. So if you're new to the show, you can go to askoneradio.com and look at the archives and see about 340 shows backlogged over there. That's I listen to them sometimes, but it amazes me that I've been doing this for so long, and that's why I get itchy when I don't do it, because it's the highlight of my week, and Wednesdays are not Wednesdays for me if I don't get to talk to people all around the world, including Mary in Detroit. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Oh, hello, Reverend. Thank you very much for having me. The Buddha wants to talk to you too. He wants to send you a message when you're ready.
I missed part of that.
The Buddha wants to send you a message.
You have a new message?
From the Buddha.
Okay, what's the message?
All right, let me open up. So he's gently, with his hands cupping each other, facing down, sitting in the stance. It says, untouched, unattached. Happiness or sorrow, whatever befalls you, walk on untouched, unattached. It will be great importance if someday in the future we are changing the patterns of our language, because our languages are very deeply rooted in ignorance. When we feel angry, you mean to say, I am hungry. That creates identification and gives you a feeling as if you are hungry. You are not. The English should be such that it does not give you the wrong notion. I am, when it's really observing that the body is hungry. You're watching the fact that the stomach is empty, that it desires food, but this is not you. Are you hungry? Did you eat something yet, sir? You are the watcher. You are.
Well, it sounds interesting. Did we lose you? I guess we have a bad connection. So, listen, if you're listening, Mary, thank you for the message. Some of that I followed, and I couldn't quite make out some of that the other parts, so I think we didn't have a very solid connection there. But I do thank you for calling and thinking of me and letting me get the message rather than give out a message. So that feels good. But I will definitely listen to that on when the show hits the archives and see what I make out of that. So let's see. I'll just talk until we have somebody coming up for the next call. How's that? You get to hear me vamp for a little bit. Now, why is it called vamping? I mean, I'm old enough to think of vamping as people like, Theda Bara, which is that was in the teens, I guess. I'm not that old, but I'm one of those people who was born old and have been losing ground ever since. So I don't know how to explain that, but it is kind of funny. There is a theory that I'd like to discuss from time to time that tarot cards are alive. Literally alive, not that there's a spirit of them, but it is that the cards themselves are literally themselves alive. And why not? I mean, everything is in motion, everything moves, all atoms move, the atomic structure vibrates, and isn't that life? Perhaps that's what it is. But I spent time before the first call talking about science and how it's been letting people down. And then I get that card, which is the card that is called science in many decks. So you see, there's a connection. It's as if the cards are listening and paying attention. How they do that, I don't know. I've given up. I just shuffle them. I take a look, and I tell you what I see. But well, that's just they have a puckish attitude towards me anyway. They may be different to you, but to me, the cards do things like that. Like I'll say, well, the last thing I expect to see here will be the King of Coins, and then they'll shuffle the cards, and the card King of Coins will come up, and I say, thank you, cards, for doing that to me. Michelle in Alabama is on. Hi, Michelle. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi.
Hi. How are you tonight, Michelle?
I'm doing all right, and you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back. I've missed everybody. So what can I look at for you tonight?
Well, I was just wanting to see what you see in there.
Okay, let's see what I find. I'll just give him a quick shuffle. And there's an interesting card. I don't get that card very often at all. I got 3 cards here for you. They're very powerful cards. There's change happening in your life. Is that so?
That's correct.
Okay, let me tell you what I've got here, because this will give some insight into the nature of the change. The first card is the Hanged Man. Now, that is one of the more mysterious cards in the deck, because it shows a person hanging from a tree or a cross of wood. But if everybody has the urge to turn that card upside down, and when you do, it looks like the person is smiling and happy and dancing a jig. The Hanged Man is a card about a person who is sacrificing for something greater. The next card is the Tower Struck by Lightning, which means abrupt change has happened in your life or is coming. And then the next card is the Wheel of Fortune, which means the way things are in your life now is changing. That's why I asked you if there's a lot of changes, because these would be sudden dynamic changes, but you're prepared for them. The next card I have is the Nine of Rods, and that is not a major card. The other 3 are. And to get 3 out of 4 major cards says that this is an important reading. The Nine of Rods indicates that what's coming, the change that's coming in your life, is something that you're ready for. You're prepared for it. You've got the experience to deal with it, and it may even be something that you want. It does. People associate change with something bad usually, but this looks like something that you're really ready for. This is something you're doing in your life that you want to make change in, that you have been wanting to have happen for a while now.
Correct. I have now got my 2 grandsons I'm raising.
And was that a sudden thing?
It's turned into a pretty sudden thing, yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
I have them, no doubt, I'm going to be the one raising them. Before there was doubt, but now there's not.
Well, there's the sacrifice. That's a great sacrifice, like to start over again and raising grandchildren. The Tower Struck by Lightning, that's the sudden change in your life. The Wheel of Fortune that is the situation is evolving and changing and growing, and you are prepared for it. Now, here's something interesting. This is going to turn out well, because I've got the 6 of Cups, which is a card of childhood and childhood memories. So there must be a lot of memories flooding back to you as you do this, raising children again. And then the Four of
Yes.
Rods, which is a happy home. You're going to be providing a good, happy home for these children. So things are looking good.
Good. That's good to hear.
So I think that the main thing is you're equipped to do this. You're ready for it. You can handle it. Yes, it entails a great degree of sacrifice, but that is not something that you shy away from. And look at that. I've got one more card, the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is just great happiness. And it shows happy people with two little happy children dancing at their feet.
Okay.
So, even if I didn't know what the meaning of the card was, that picture says it all.
Yes.
So
It
you'll
does.
do okay. You're going to do all right. But you knew that, didn't you?
I was hoping that.
Yeah, well, there it is. I tell you what I'll do. After the show, I will light a white candle to send positive energy your way and to your newly extended family. How's that?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle them up again. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window on the Ask One Radio Network. We're here every Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific. And Taylor in Grand Island, Nebraska is on. Hi, Taylor. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I always feel a kind of a spiritual connection to Nebraska because long ago, for a few weeks, I shared an apartment here in New York in Greenwich Village with several women from Nebraska. That was a trip. I learned a lot. So what can I look at for you?
Well, my cat, he's missing. He's been missing for about 2-3 weeks now. I'm really worried. I've had him since he was 6 weeks old. He's approximately like 3 years now. So I grew a really tight bond with him.
Yes.
And I don't know where to start looking. I don't know what to do. I'm just really worried because he's not an outdoor kitty. He's an indoor.
I know. This is very concerning. I feel from your voice, I can feel it. And as one who has several times in his life has shared his space with a cat, because I can never say I owned a cat, that I know exactly I know exactly what it feels like when there's a problem. And so
I have 3 of them, and one of them's missing, and it's like the Three Musketeers, and then when one's missing, it's like everything's out of place. It's not right, and I just really want to find him.
Well, let me see what I can see here. I mean, I'm getting mixed messages here. I mean, I'm not getting anything that clearly says something horrible has happened, but I'm not getting anything that indicates a return, at least not in the foreseeable future, because sometimes these things happen, and especially with cats, they'll come back after quite a while. But I'm not getting a sense one way or the other, and I really hate to disappoint you like that. I mean, I've got like the Four of Cups is here, and that's about a situation that is unexplainable. We don't know yet. It's a person looking at 3 cups, and there's a hand coming out of a cloud with another cup. Offering it, but we don't see it. But yet, that's a confusing thing that says you don't know what's going to happen. And then I have cards of sadness and cards of happiness. So I'm getting really, really just mixed messages here. So I don't think I can all give you anything.
Okay.
Let me make a suggestion, because this is probably too personal for me to pick anything up, because I'm getting your sadness and fear. Okay. So I want, this isn't going to cost you anything. Okay. I want you to go to my website when you feel like doing it. It's magick-works.com. Okay. And there are two things I want you to look at there. One is the section on using a pendulum.
I have a bunch of those.
Oh, so you've done that. Okay. So try
Yes,
using the
it
pendulum
helps
for
me
that.
find my lost stuff all the time.
Yeah. So see, because if I remember correctly, I might be, I mean, it's a big website. I may have some cards that you could download that help specifically for finding things like that, or getting insight into a missing animal. If not, the other page is the contact page. Drop me a line, and I'll send you something. I can email you something to print out and try it. As long as you're familiar with the pendulum, that's great. Because I'm getting, because of the mixed messages I'm getting, I think what I'm really picking up on is your fear. That's what's coming through. So I'm not
Okay.
getting a clear look at this. It's almost like static because it's deep, the fear that you've got. I see you're trying to control it. I've got the strength card here, which is good, but it's still coming through. Please have you given the pendulum a shot with this cat?
Not yet. Well, see, the thing is I had to come to Colorado for just to finish up some like unfinished stuff here because I used to live here, and I was going to go back to Nebraska. Well, my parents are watching my three cats, and I'm nowhere near him, and it's just really frustrating. And I'm trying to keep it together.
Yes, I
But
see.
I'm
That's
still
what
in Colorado.
That's what I'm getting. What I'm reading is you, right? I'm getting your feelings.
Yeah, and all my pendulums are in Nebraska, so I haven't tried it.
Okay, well,
I'm
if you
hoping
want
to go back this weekend.
Okay, but if you don't and you want to do something, check to see what you've got, what I have at the page of my website, and if I don't have things there to download, I know I have something about the weather to download, but that's not going to help you. Then just drop me a line at the contact page, and I'll send you something, email it to you to print out, and then you just put some thread through a ring or something that you wear and do it. Okay.
Okay, I have my husband's ashes that I wear around my neck. That might work. Because that means a lot to me.
Okay, give that a shot.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And so do that and contact me, and I will send you something. All right.
And it's Magic Works.
Magick-works.com. Magick-works.com.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks
for calling.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you. Let's get in Katie in Modesto. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot. Hi. What can I look at for you tonight? Yeah, hi. What can I look at for you tonight?
Well, I'd like to know about a love reading. Somebody that I met a couple of years ago, and it's just been kind of like ongoing, but I never really seemed to open up to this person. I'm going to see this person again next month through business, and I mean, I just don't have the answers, and
Okay,
I
so you want to
know a little bit more.
Okay, I've got a couple of minutes here. Let's see if we can take a look at that relationship. And well, okay, the first card I have is the Eight of Swords, which is a card of feeling restricted and like something isn't moving or going anywhere. And Two of Cups is good because that's about the beginning of a good relationship. So that's very good. That's powerful. Is this a kind of thing where you're thinking of moving and relocating?
Well, it's kind of funny. I've had that in my mind. I mean, I didn't think I would even contemplate moving, and then a few months ago, I started thinking about moving.
Because I see a card here that represents moving. If it's not, I'm not saying you do it or don't do it. I'm just saying I see that that's what has been on your mind.
Right.
And the Ace of Cups is here, and that's a good thing for a relationship. Now, the Six of Cups is here, and that's about. You said you knew this person before a long time ago?
I met him a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And through business, and then we had to keep meeting for business. And he showed interest in me, but I was like, I just kept holding back. And I haven't seen him in a year, and I'll see him again next month through business.
Okay, well, because what I have here is the Six of Cups, and that is a card of memories from the past, and happy memories, nostalgic memories, and also that's why. Because usually when I get that, it's like somebody that that you knew, and even go back into childhood, but it's not that far back.
That sounds like the ex that
Okay.
I left about 3 years ago. He always seems to pop up. She just
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
care.
You mean like the proverbial bad penny popping up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing potential here. I'm seeing Four of Rods is a happy home. Page of Cups is a new relationship that is just beginning, so it can be kind of unsteady. The Ace of Cups is also about a new relationship. It's more theoretical than the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is actually, it's more concrete. It's very concrete. So that's the potential for this really developing. From the Ace of Cups to the Page of Cups is a big leap of development.
Mm.
So there is potential here. There's possibilities here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just curious about that. I didn't, I was like, am I just making this up in my mind, or a little confirmation is helpful.
Well, that's what I'm seeing here. Is that these cup cards are very important because they are about romance, and the heart and emotions and feelings. So yeah, and I'm getting a good number of happy cards, like the Ten of Cups. That is the quintessential happy cards. You got the Ace and the 10. That's like the whole suit. The Page of Cups, the Six of Cups. These are very happy cards in terms of, let me put it this way. You're not getting the Five of Cups, which is not happy. That's good. The Four of Rods. That's a happy home. So there's, yes, what I'm reading is there's potential here. The thing is that first card that I got, which is the Eight of Swords, which seems to indicate that you feel like nothing is happening, that it isn't moving anywhere.
Exactly.
Because that's a person who feels restricted. The person in the card, she's tied up and she's blindfolded and isn't moving. But the thing is that she can get out anytime she wants to.
It has felt that way. But what I've noticed since I've met this person, I have grown so much. And it's like, like I said, I didn't open up to him, and I haven't really seen him other than for business. But it's like caused me to like really grow.
Well, that's interesting because as you said that, the card I got is the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Cups is the heart. The cups are the heart and emotions. The swords, the intellect. The Ace of Swords is about a new way of thinking and a new way of seeing things, and it is about a person growing intellectually. So that's looking pretty good. I've got to get out of here. I've got like a minute to go, but the answer here is that I'm seeing great potential. Three of Cups is here too. That's good too. So
thank you so much.
I think that it's worth pursuing.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for your advice and your reading.
My pleasure.
And taking the time out to call.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. And that's it. We've come to the end of another session of Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, where we ask the magical question, will we be hearing from him sooner than 17 months from now? But yes, you will certainly be hearing from me much sooner. Hopefully you'll be hearing from me next Wednesday, which will be the first Wednesday in September. And I'll have my back to school special, although I am so glad. I would imagine not a day goes by in my life that I don't feel so happy that I don't have to get up and go to school. Oh, boy. Sometimes I have nightmares about, I'll have nightmares about punching a time clock that doesn't work, and I'll have nightmares about having a schedule for my classes that I can't understand. So, listen, I'll see you here next week, and we'll take another look. Don't forget to go to magic-works.com, magick-works.com, mojoacademy.org. And remember, time flies. It's up to you to be the navigator. Bye-bye now.